Hello everyone, welcome back to today's one-page note series. This video is on helminthology. The important points that you should know about helminthology are the helminths are classified into cestodes, trematodes and nematodes. Okay, so this is the classification. Cestodes are actually your tape-like worms, trematodes are your leaf-like worms and nematodes are your cylindrical worms. You need to remember the cestodes as well as the trematodes are monoecious while the nematodes are dioecious. The cestodes have suckers with hooks and alimentary canal as well as the body cavity are absent in case of cestodes. In case of trematodes, we have suckers which are without hooks and they have a poorly developed alimentary canal, body cavity is absent, and in case of nematodes these are dioecious. The buccal capsule is there in case of your suckers and hooks, and well developed alimentary canal is there and body cavity is present. Now when we talk about the cestodes, that are your tapeworms in detail. So cestodes have a scolex, they have a neck and they have the strobila. So scolex is the part where the suckers, rostellum and hooklets are there. The neck is the part, then there are strobila. Strobila contain your proglatids that will function as a reproductive organ in case of your cestodes. Now what are the clinically important cestodes? We have Taenia solium. In Taenia solium the definitive host is man and the intermediate host is pig. Then in case of Taenia saginata the definitive host is man again but the intermediate host is cattle. In case of Echinococcus granulosus the definitive host is dog and intermediate host is sheep or man. In case of H. nana the definitive host is man and intermediate host is also man. In case of Diphyllobothrium latum, the definitive host is man, but intermediate host, first intermediate host is cyclops, second one is your fish. Then coming to Diphyllobothrium latum, that is also known as fish tapeworm. It has pleurocercoid larva, that is the infective stage of Diphyllobothrium latum, and this infective form is found in the fish. Now when the adult consumes the fish is consumed and this larva also enters your adult. Okay, now finally this larva will grow into an adult form, and then in the man's intestine, it gets converted, it lays eggs and it lays operculated eggs that have a lid. Okay, then this egg will get converted into Coracidium larva L1, then into procercoid larva L2 and pleurocercoid larva, that is L3. So pleurocercoid larva is found in the fish and procercoid larva is found in case of your cyclops. Okay, so I hope that Diphyllobothrium latum is clear. This Diphyllobothrium latum also results in vitamin B12 malabsorption. So there is decrease in vitamin B12 absorption. Okay, so let's just move to the other page of helminthology. Now talking about H. nana is also known as the dwarf tapeworm. The eggs are the infective form in case of H. nana, and in intestine H. nana has the cysticercoid larvae. In intestine these eggs are converted into adult form, and then adult form will again lay the eggs which will come out in the feces, or these eggs will hatch and result in formation of hexacanth embryo that is responsible for auto infection. So you need to remember that this hexacanth embryo is responsible for auto-infection, and this is the non-bile stained egg of H. nana that contains polar filaments and hooks. Then coming to Echinococcus is your dog tapeworm. The eggs are the infective form in case of Echinococcus. In the duodenum the eggs will hatch into hexacanth embryo. In the intestine the hexacanth embryo will penetrate and will enter your portal circulation. In portal circulation, when it enters, it finally goes into the liver and give rise to your hydrated cyst. This hydrated cyst, to test the hydrated cyst, we perform Cassoni test, that is type 1 hypersensitivity reaction. Now this hydrated cyst have different coverings like your pericyst, like your ectocyst and your endocyst. Endocyst is actually the germinal epithelium of the hydrated cyst, and endocyst is the most active form of most active layer of the hydrated cyst. The hydrated cyst also contains hydrated fluid and it is associated with brood capsule protoscolysis. Now, Echinococcus multilocularis. Echinococcus multilocularis is responsible for causation of malignant hydrated disease. The treatment of Echinococcus is mild to moderate infection is treated by pair therapy, where we use cholecytyl agent, and large cysts are treated by surgical removal. Now talking about Tinea solium and Tinea saginata, that are very frequently asked in your exam. So Tinea solium is actually shorter while saginata is longer. In spelling also you can see the saginata spelling is longer than solium, so solium is shorter. Then solium is armed tapeworm because it contains rostellum and hooklets, while the Tinea saginata is unarmed because rostellum and hooklets are absent. The eggs look quite similar in case of solium and saginata. Then the eggs of the Tinea solium are dangerous, and you should know that Tinea saginata, if it contains the egg there are hooklets, and these hooklets result in acid fastness of Tinea saginata's egg. Then Tinea solium proglottids are less than 1000 in number. The number of proglottids are more in case of your Tinea saginata. Uncooked pork with Cysticercus cellulose, okay, and uncooked beef, this is the mode of spread. Tinea saginata usually spread by eating uncooked beef with Cysticercus bovis. Okay, so bovis and beef is for your Tinea saginata, and we have teniasis due to Tinea solium and cysticercosis due to Tinea solium, while nothing happens if you ingest the egg of Tinea saginata. Okay, so this was about helminthology.